Okay, we eat the shark cake. Because you can tell by the tail. Hey, thank you. Right.
There's more.
Ooh, look at this guy.
That's when you see the tail and you're like, yep.
Oh my god. Oh man, come on camera.
Shark. Ủa nó bị gì vậy? Hai mươi shark. Ủa nó đi gần quá vậy. Ủa đây nè. Okay, we eat the shark cake over here. So much shark.
Yeah, look at my stuff in there. We got a 15-pound before. Remember?
Yeah, another shark bag.
I'm excited. Straighten up. Fast? Straighten up. Oh, this guy's so pretty. Look at those guys. Yeah, serious. This is a cool ass tank. Wow.
Oh, look it. It says right here.
Không có đang bấm này ra thành phần rồi này.
That are kind of hanging out here are going to shoot all the way to the entrance of the tunnel, where we throw in some fish and some bass pellets. That's right, they have basically their own kind of dog food just for bass food. So we distract all of those striped bass over here, and then we have all of these white bass and our yellow-tailed jack. They come all the way over to the other side of the tank, and this is where we throw in some food for them. So that's going to be the start, is those two sides are going to begin maybe 40 seconds before the rest. And then the people up there will start throwing in things like squid, maybe clam, cut up sardine, some baked fish like capelin that humans don't really eat. And that'll be all along the tunnel here. So I'm going to check in and see how they're doing up there, if they're ready to start throwing in some food. And let's see how it's going to go. Those other fish are going to head over here to the other side where they get fed. And then everything else will be fed. So if you look at those bigger fish, those bass, anything that's kind of at the top of the water, you'll see that their mouth is kind of facing upward. So that's why they eat at the top. They're kind of evolved for the area that they live in. They live at the top of the water, they eat kind of upwards. At the same, similar way, you can see some of the sharks have their mouth kind of in the middle bottom of their mouth here, or in their face here. They got a leopard shark going on both sides of the tunnels. Well, that's the other thing. Make sure you look behind you too. You might miss some of the feeding when it starts to happen. And so those animals that have a mouth in the middle of their face, they're going to eat kind of around the middle at eye level. The best part about the tunnels, though, is that our animals that have mouths on the bottom, like our bat rays and our skates, even a few of our sharks here, normally you would never get to see them eat because they would just be munching on the bottom of the sand. But because we have these tunnels, you can actually see them feeding all above you and around you. So they've started throwing in a few fish. They're a little bit slow today, which means the feeding's going to be a lot longer, which we like. They'll start on the edges. They kind of just start throwing food in towards the middle. It looks like on the far side we have a lot of our squid coming in. And at the beginning of the tunnel, it looks like they're throwing in our capelin. What's really great about our food here is this is the same seafood that you could order right on the pier at Fisherman's Wharf. So if anyone here likes calamari, that's the exact same squid that you would get in your dish that we are throwing in here right now. So that's what's really great about our aquarium. You know, we have a lot of fish-related shops and seafood around here, and we're not actually taking the scraps and giving those to our fish. We're giving them the same type of food that we would want to eat because we want all of our animals to be really healthy. So the San Francisco Bay is actually one of the largest estuaries in the world. And what that means is it's a mix of salt water and fresh water. So if you were in the bay itself, it's a little bit less salty than if you were in the Pacific Ocean. And the point that kind of divides those two in half is the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's the entrance into the San Francisco Bay. And everything actually gets a little bit more shallow once you enter the bay from the Pacific Ocean. And all these animals here are the guys that generally live in the San Francisco Bay. You'll see our largest sharks, those 7-gill sharks that are really dark and are kind of missing their top dorsal fin. They only have one because they're pretty ancient. If you look right over the top over here, that's our largest shark in the tank. She's a 7-gill female. She'll be swimming around. So those guys probably will not be eating during this. And the reason for that is we actually feed them separately twice a week. We have a diver that will actually come in the water and shake fish in their face with a big pole. Not with their hand, that would probably not be good for the diver. The reason we do this is the 7-gill sharks are actually the top predator in this tank, as well as the top on of this. To the tops right now. And that's where you'll see a lot of the really cool feeding that we have towards Nevada, hence the name. That water will come all the way down in the rivers and drains, all of the water that we have on the streets. If you're hosing the front of your lawn, that will go into storm drains. And all of that water ends up in the San Francisco Bay for a large area of northern. Take a lot of the water from Northern California and bring it all the way down. At this point, we have a lot less than that. So we have water going to LA. If you're from California, you might know that we actually have one of the largest agricultural centers in the world. We have like the capital of garlic, the capital of artichoke, that Americans eat, and especially in California, but it goes all over America, especially into